winning game plan. By First Tennessee, powering your dreams. By the official soft drink of the Memphis Grizzlies, Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world. By AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. And the first quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Roadshow BMW. Let's meet the starting lineups, the Toyota starting lineups for the Memphis Grizzlies. Sam Young, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph. Randolph and Gasol have been fabulous in this series. A backcourt of Tony Allen and Mike Conley. Mike Conley averaging better than 7 assists in the first 4 games. For head coach Lionel Hollins, the Grizzlies, 117 wins as their head coach, the winningest head coach in franchise history. And for the San Antonio Spurs, they trail in the series 3-1. Richard Jefferson, Antonio McDyess, 13-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, Tim Duncan, a backcourt of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Greg Popovich, a little exasperated with what went down on Saturday night because the Grizzlies were so good against the San Antonio Spurs. It's Game 5, Grizzlies and Spurs, and a reminder that every telecast of Grizzlies basketball is presented in spectacular high definition, courtesy of Roadshow BMW. Brevin Knight, this is a proud franchise here in San Antonio. They have hung 4 banners. The Grizzlies have a grand total of 3 playoff wins. The question on the table, is this a changing of the guard in the Western Conference? And if so, does it ultimately happen tonight here in San Antonio?
I don't know if it's a changing of a guard, but this is a matchup that favors the Memphis Grizzlies. Inside, too big, too physical. But as you said, a storied franchise, championship franchise. They will not lay down. The Grizzlies have to play an excellent game to come away with a victory.
A shout out to all the fans at FedEx Forum for the Bud Light watch party. Hope you're having fun out of the rain and making a little noise. Bob Delaney is our crew chief. He tosses it, and we are underway. Delaney is joined by finals veteran Ken Maurer and David Jones, a playoff-tested official who also officiated in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. Also a welcome to our viewers on NBA TV. Glad you are with us tonight for Game 5. Tony Allen against Manu Ginobili. Tony pulls up, and the rebound taken by Richard Jefferson. Grizzlies won Game 4 in Memphis, 104-86. San Antonio got off to a 7-point lead because Tony Parker had a strong offensive first quarter. The Grizzlies reeled him in with a strong second half. 8 to shoot for Richard Jefferson, who was held scoreless in the last game, went 0 for 4 in 27 minutes.
Yeah, two games in Memphis where he struggled. But the 2 games here in 1 and 2, 13 and 16 points respectively.
Sam Young with a long 2. Brevin, I think the first 5 minutes of this game will be telling really for both teams where their minds are.
And if the Grizzlies can hang in, put a little bit of doubt in the Spurs' mind as to here we go again, what do we do to stop this team?
McDyess against Randolph, weak side rebound, corralled by Gasol. Marc has been brilliant on the glass, averaging 11 rebounds in the first 4 games.
The other thing Marc has done is not allow the Spurs' other bigs to have nights off. He's gone at any big that is guarding him other than Tim Duncan.
Randolph puts it in. Zach Randolph, in the regular year, finished 19th in the league in scoring at 20 a game, 3rd in the NBA with a franchise and career best 12.2 rebounds a game.
For those that don't know, Z-Bo usually starts out every game with that jump shot.
Duncan with a miss. Good interior defense by the Grizzlies. Spurs start 0 of 3.
I talked with Tim Duncan at the hotel in Memphis, and he kind of likened this defense that the Grizzlies are playing to when we played them in the NCAA championship, and Z-Bo misses that jumper.
Sam Young trying to keep it alive, and the Grizzlies with an extra possession. The hustle of the Grizzlies was evident in the second half of game number 4.
They're going to need all of that hustle and more to close out this team on their home court.
Gasol. And the Grizzlies taking a number of perimeter jump shots. They led the league in paint points at better than 51 a game. Ginobili stopped on a dime. Duncan not expecting the pass. Tony Allen Nice feed to Sam Young, who missed the layup. And then Tony Allen throws it away. Both sides shaky early. Duncan with the first bucket for the Spurs. Duncan averaging 13 and 10 rebounds in the series.
And we talked about keeping Parker out of the paint. And back to that story, Tim Duncan, Wake Forest, I was at Stanford. We played him in the NCAA tournament, and we threw 6 big guys at him in crowds. And Mark turns around that with the turnaround jumper. And that was our way of beating him up and taking away some of his offensive ability, which the Grizzlies have done here in this series.
Parker being shadowed by Conley. High screen by McDyess. The pick and roll, and there goes Duncan drawing the foul, and he will go to the free throw line. Foul on Sam Young, his first.
And they're going to go inside to their big fella, and pick and rolls is what the Spurs live by. Tim Duncan that close to the basket is probably 90%. But on the other end, this is what Mark has been doing tremendously here in this series, continuing to take the ball at their big guys, not allowing them to just key on Z.
Well, Gasol, who shot just 34% against the Spurs during the regular season, shooting 57% against San Antonio in the series.
A lot of that's due to double teams. A lot of that is Tim Duncan having to guard Zach Randolph. There is no other big tall enough or strong enough to keep Marc Gasol away from his offensive move.
Duncan has all 4 San Antonio points. Averaged a career low 13.5 during the season, but then again his minutes were reduced to about 28 a game to keep him fresh for the playoffs. Shot clock already down to 10. Conley behind a Randolph screen, sends it and scores it. Mike Conley averaging better than 14 a game. The shot making hasn't been there. He's under 40% from the floor in the playoffs, but his leadership and playmaking ability has been there. Duncan, he misses the dunk.
If you think back to game 1, he started off the same way in that first quarter. Strong moves. He had a powerful dunk to the basket. Great cut.
Sam Young on a cut, and Zach Randolph finished the regular year with 11 consecutive games with 2 or more assists. He is no longer the black hole that people made him out to be. Grizzlies by 4. With 4.5 gone by. Parker in the lane.
Best point guard in the NBA at scoring in the paint. Cannot allow him to get into the paint, because if he gets going offensively, you have to bring more defenders. That opens up easy laying or enables them to get the three-point game going that they haven't done so far.
Gasol one-on-one with Duncan. Shot clock down to 10. Sam Young against Jefferson. Grizzlies got to reload with 5 to shoot. Gasol against Duncan. Starts his move, puts it up and off.
Good defense there by the Spurs. First force of Grizzlies tough shot.
Parker straight line drive. It's blocked by Sam Young. Oh, what a play by Sam as he climbed the ladder to wipe it away. Gasol's open.
Said it earlier, a lot of jump shots. Don't let the Spurs off the hook. Continue to get inside the paint against them.
Ginobili with a miss. McDyess. Duncan the only one back against Gasol, and Gasol commits a blocking foul.
Didn't give him anything easy. Forced him to go to the free throw line and make 2 free throws. No layups. As you see here, Z-Bo, no double team. That is what he's become good at. Not just on double teams does he make good passes to cutters, but then on the other end, Sam with the lay-in and the defense on the other end.
Well, this was one of the Roadshow BMW keys to the game. Do not let San Antonio parade to the free throw line. That was the case in games 1 and 2, and to a lesser extent game 3. In game 4, only 14 free throw attempts. George Hill will come in for Richard Jefferson.
You know Tim Duncan can make layups. Well, let's put him to the free throw line. Historically, not a great free throw shooter to see 67% against the Grizzlies over his career, but just an average free throw shooter.
Switch that pair. The bigger issue now is Marc Gasol has a foul, and the Grizzlies really don't have a big name backup with his size. You'd bring Darrell Arthur in if Mark got into early foul problems. Grizzlies lead is 1. Conley. Yes!
Games 3 and 4, the Spurs started to do something different. They started going under on Mike Conley screens, and tonight going under again, knocks down 2 early jump shots. See if that changes the defensive philosophy for the Spurs.
George Hill, third season out of IUPUI. Parker around and off, boarded by Randolph. Spurs start 2 of 9, the Grizzlies 5 of 12. Conley. And the rebound, George Hill. Spurs on the regular season averaged about 104 points per game. Gasol, I think, got a hand on it.
He did. And Z-Bo didn't see that pass coming to him. Now starts to break.
Out of bounds, last touch by Ginobili. But the Spurs a higher scoring unit than they have been in the past. The Grizzlies a better defensive unit than editions past. Timeout on the floor. It's taken by the Spurs. Nerves a little tight early. Mike Conley playing well. He's made 2 of 3. He's got 4. The Grizzlies by 3. Sure.
Well, guys, despite having a 3-1 advantage, the Grizzlies continue with their mantra. We haven't accomplished anything yet. I talked to Mike Conley. He said, it's not like we were expecting to be up 3-1, but we don't look at it that way. We're still focused. We're taking it game by game. In our locker room, we know we still need one more win to move on. Now, Tim Duncan said the Grizzlies and Spurs have both put themselves in this position. He said, no need to look at the stats now. We need to win to stay alive. Now, one important stat for Grizzlies fans is that with Tim Duncan, Spurs are 0-5 in series when they trail 3 games to 1. As far as what that stat means for the Grizzlies team and Coach Lionel Hollins, no surprise when he said absolutely nothing.
Well, and the other thing, too, is they almost came back from a 3-1 deficit against Dallas, and if not for an untimely foul by Manu Ginobili against Dirk Nowitzki, they would have pulled it off.
Hey, partner, as you said, all of those stats go out of the window. This is the heart of a champion, and you cannot test it until it gets into these situations and see how they react.
Z-Bo forced into a fadeaway. Good defense by McDyess. And the rebound to Duncan. Only 8 teams have come back from 3-1 down to win. Phoenix the last to do it in 2006. Good defense by Tony Allen. Denying Ginobili. Duncan over Gasol. Goes last.
His patented post move. You don't allow him to get to the paint. You allow him that angle to the backboard. Probably the best backboard bank shot shooter we've seen in a big man in our history.
Part of the reason they call him the big fundamental. Deep catch. Randolph raked away from behind. George Hill on the pickup. Oh, what a play by Conley to contest the pass to Tony Parker and force the turnover.
That's the scrap of this Grizzlies team. Hustle, get back on defense. Don't give the Spurs anything easy.
And Conley, the hometown bounce on the road. The Grizzlies led the league in steals at about 9.5 a game, led the league in forced turnovers, and were second in points off turnovers. Grizzlies with 3, actually that was their first basket off the first turnover, as Manu Ginobili responds on the other end. Ginobili, of course, missed game 1 with the strained right elbow. He's a left-handed player in his 9th season out of Argentina.
Yeah, backdoor play. Tony Allen a little bit too aggressive on the overplay on the wing, and Ginobili, the backdoor, the weak side defense has to see the ball come over for help.
Sam Young, shot clock down to 5. Rebound McDyess. And the Grizzlies, who led the league in paint points, have just 2. Meanwhile, the Spurs have 6. Spurs looking for the lead here with 3.5 remaining first quarter. Duncan knocked away by Randolph. Spurs keep with 13 on the shot clock. Richard Jefferson returns for the Spurs. Shane Battier and Darrell Arthur, one of the many heroes of Game 4. Shane, of course, the hero of Game 1 as he hit the decisive 3. Grizzlies winning Game 1, 101-98.
We talk about the Grizzlies not having paint points as they normally do as Tim Duncan back to the bank shot, knocks it down. But a Spurs defense that understands that the Grizzlies are great at paint points. You in the playoffs, you take away what teams do best, force them into a weakness, which is long-range jump shots.
Duncan with 9 in the quarter, had only 6 in Game 4. Gasol swings the hook. And the Grizzlies unable to get the offensive rebound, and then a foul called. So beyond Tony Allen is first.
Yeah, and the thing is, on the